All right, well, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin,
I'm Tarsha.
and this is Conversations with the Crawleys, where we have conversations about faith, family relationships, and by the way, we also do some recaps of shows that we like and we watch. So you get invited to those conversations. This one is all about the newest season of Ready to Love in Miami. And are these folks really ready to love?
I don't know, but it's hot out there.
It is
Or it's
muggy.
getting hot out there.
It's getting hot. Yeah. All right. You voguing or what are you doing? All right. So anyway, if this is content that you enjoy, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe, hit the like, request notifications,
And share.
and we'll see you in the comments. Shout out to the Conversations crew, the squad. That might be the new
KT
name.
Squad?
KT Squad or Conversations crew. I don't know. Think about
No, that's too much.
it. Okay, well, we'll figure it out. Anyway, welcome back, y'all.
Just start changing names.
Well, we got folks that changing whether or not they daddies or not, so we can change names.
Ooh.
Yeah, we starting off that way.
Ooh.
All right. What? Welcome back to all y'all that just wait around for Ready to Love. You don't watch any of our other videos, but hey, we appreciate you still for stopping by for these videos.
Subscribe. Stop just hanging around and subscribe.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the mixer went okay. One guy got sent home.
Right.
Another guy went home because of family issues.
Correct.
The two ladies that were in the bottom were saved. Tommy's like, I'm gonna spare you. But they get to brunch.
Right. Love brunch. You got to have a good brunch.
What are the brunch spots where you are? Because we got a few good brunch spots here in Phoenix. Shout out to Sugar Jam. We're gonna come by and check y'all out in a little bit too. All right, so but Tommy is like, look, one of y'all ladies is going home. So mix, mingle, whatever you want to do.
I better figure it out.
Figure it out.
If you want to stay on Ready to Love.
So Dominica she's at least doing the wise thing by going around saying, hey, what was causing me to be in the bottom? What happened?
Well, yes and no.
Right.
Because she needed to rephrase the question, right? Because I don't know anybody who wants to be confronted when they're about to send somebody home.
True.
So she could say, what do you feel like I can do better? Or what did you like about me, since we talked last night?
Right.
And then that kind of could get them comfortable sharing some things since she was on the bottom, but saying, did you vote for me?
Yeah.
Or what was it?
Because
that made me
they showed, none of them brothers was taking blame. They was like,
nope, wasn't me. I didn't vote.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't me. Nobody.
Like, what was that
Nobody.
song? Shaggy, it wasn't me.
Even in a nice way, like, you know what? I really appreciate you. But when I talked to you or when I saw you, this is how you appeared to me.
I get homie vibes, right?
Right. Or you could even say that, like, we will make good friends, but.
So Tommy also lets everyone know that Looney came down with COVID.
Yeah.
Because COVID's still a thing out there.
COVID is out there.
And y'all be careful because that monkeypox is out there too.
That monkeypox is no joke. Don't be messing with no monkeypox.
And listen,
Don't mess with the monkeypox.
We finalizing passports because if we need to make an exit,
listen, we ain't getting monkeypox.
We can still do conversations with the Crawleys from Ghana. We can do it from.
You gonna see the ocean behind us, like
from
the
Barbados. We'll figure out a way to do conversations
from a cruise ship. I ain't messing with no monkeypox.
Nah.
Shoot, I'm almost old enough for shingles, and I heard I don't want none of that, so I definitely don't want no monkeypox.
So
I don't know how we got up for that.
Dominica, of course, is going around, but Sharice, who is also in the bottom,
she networking.
Yeah, but she's being, in my opinion, more aggressive. All right. She is going around basically like interrupting conversations. Like, all right, you go talk to somebody else. It's my turn now. And there's a issue that happens where Randall is sitting there with two ladies. Someone made him a plate. And she, in my opinion, passive aggressively was like, oh, why y'all serving him? He a king now? So,
again, she was networking. It was a business brunch for her. She had to make sure it was her business, that her name was in every man's mouth. And so that's kind of how it went down for her. But again, okay, talk to the guys you didn't get to talk to that night. Just casually saying, hey, it was good to see you.
Right.
Mention how you had a good conversation with them last night and you wanted to continue. There's ways to be smooth. I'm smooth. There's ways to be smooth, to stay on without being like, okay, girl, you need to move because I need to stay.
Right. So Mike and Brandy are also booed up.
They were booed up in the back before
Tommy talking, and they're like, we don't care what Tommy got to say. We over here.
Even Tommy like, what y'all doing in the back? Y'all far away from us.
So
you gotta be careful when you start booing up. When people see that you're connecting and you got a connection real quick, they'll start labeling you. So
there's some other connections that we start to see. Justice and April.
Right.
She's like, she finds him charming, and if she's not careful, she gonna find herself getting caught up.
Yes.
In them Justice
Lee streets.
Yep. Devin seems to have a problem sweating though.
We know that is a condition.
Yes, it is.
And Devin's, obviously, then when you sweat and you're anxious because you are sweating,
right? It's just a cycle that keeps
going. Yeah.
So Samson and Shakira have a moment. They're talking, right?
Right.
And she talks about her life started over 3 years ago because that's when she realized her marriage wasn't working.
Right. And so it seemed like they were having a good conversation, and she was really opening up about that situation. So.
Yeah. And then Justice, we actually had to rewind it because it was like we weren't getting it at first.
The way they cut the scene, it was like you got to try to make it make sense, right?
Right.
Because we don't know how long that conversation was.
Right.
And I was like, I think I get what was being said. So what did you get?
Well, first of all, let's just talk about the editing.
I don't want to talk about the editing this season, but
the editing this season so far has been at like a breakneck speed. It's like you got 2 seconds with this couple, 2 seconds with this person. So it's like we're trying to figure out, because again, this is only the second episode.
Right.
Again, I think that they made a mistake by not doing a preview special, allowing us to get to know who the cast members are.
Right.
So now, because we're sitting there like, who is this person?
Right.
So, but now, as far as what he said, he basically said, I'm not spending money to see if I'm interested, is what I got from him.
Right. That's what I got. Okay. I understand that. I know that, a lot, what I think I hear him saying is that he finds other ways to talk to you. Like, maybe we're peers at work, or we go to the same coffee shop or somewhere where we can interact.
Right.
And then from that, he can determine or not if he wants to date and spend money.
Because I think what he needs to be clear on is, what does he mean by interested? What level are we talking about?
Right.
Because if I'm interested in you, the way I'm viewing it, right? If I'm interested, that means I do want to get to know you more.
Right.
And so, we are going to go out on dates.
Right.
But if I just see you're attractive.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know if I really want to get to know you.
Right.
Then, I can understand. I'm not going to spend money on that because you're attractive.
Right.
We're in Miami. We're in whatever city. There's lots of attractive people here. So I'm not going to, so I think that's what he's saying. He may have come off maybe harshly, or may have come off a little confusing, because the ladies that he was talking to were like, wait, no, you gotta wine and dine to get us to know us. And so I think there was, in some respects, they may have been saying some of the same things.
Correct.
Just different language.
Because I understand her perspective.
Yeah.
I'm not going to date you and be monogamous and are dating if you have not decided to make me exclusive, right?
Right.
Like we're saying, hey, I'm just letting you know so it's clear. I am going to be dating other people.
Right.
Until we determine that it's just going to be the two of us. Right. And so I'm letting you know that. And there's nothing wrong with that as well.
Right.
You're being very clear in your intentions and where you are. But then he makes a statement because she asks him, so how long does that take?
Could
And
be a month.
he
It
said
could
it
be
could
a
be a
year.
year. No, 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 no. That's where I feel, especially on the male's part, is that when you are not transparent in your timeline,
Right.
either you're going to be very misunderstood and it'll be assumptions made, or a woman's not going to put up with that.
We tell kids when we're potty training, and handle your business or get off the pot. Right. He needs to handle his business or get off the pot.
Right.
Either make a decision, because in my opinion, I don't know that it takes that long to determine if someone is interesting enough to pursue,
or that you're going to make them exclusive.
right?
But then you're deciding that I'm not going to update you. So you're not going to update me like, okay, I feel like we're going to be going to another level.
Right.
That, I see a marriage in our future. I see this in our future. If you say like, tell me up front, I don't want to be married, and the chick is still trying to pursue you looking for marriage, that's on her.
Right.
You made it very clear. No one can change somebody's mind.
Absolutely.
Or you waiting for someone to change their mind.
Right.
But don't tell me, you know what, when the stars and the moon lights up, and then when the eclipse hits perfectly to the light, then we're going to go wherever this relationship's going to go. You got to communicate.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. So then Domenica is, again, she's circling around. She's trying to still get answers as to why she's still. I need answers.
I want to be better.
So she asks Mike, and Sharice is there.
Right.
And Sharice is like, Domenica, stop being loud. That's it. That's the whole story. Stop being loud. Now
my voice is just I just talk loud.
Now, if you remember last episode, Sharice was being shady and catty. That's what she was doing, right? So I don't know. She and the thing is that she's catty and shady to the other women, and I don't know that the men see that at this point, at least. But I also don't know that because she wasn't put in the bottom. Domenica was not put in the bottom by Sharice and the other ladies. She's making an observation maybe upon what she thinks is attractive, but no one actually said that as far as the cutaways that we've seen, none of the men commented on her voice or her being loud. The thing was personality, as far as her feeling like a homie.
Okay, but let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Let's be honest. Go ahead. We try to do that on this show.
Men tend not to like women that are loud, correct?
Or catty or shady, yes. Go ahead.
Okay, but as you indicated, no one sees that, right?
True.
Catty. So we can only talk about, so she is telling truth, right?
Right.
That men tend not to like anyone that's just overly loud, boisterous, and everything. Because either they get labeled as either the party girl or the homie.
And that's what we've seen in previous seasons.
And we saw that in previous seasons.
Yes.
Now, Mike was like, again, all these men were like, you're putting me on the spot.
But did she give Mike a chance to answer? Cause
not from the way it was cut.
Correct. Sharice just jumped in again.
It seemed like she just jumped in again.
But Domenica didn't ask Sharice. She asked Mike.
She didn't, but she didn't give a wrong answer either.
And again, there's a way to handle that. There's a way to do that, right?
There is a way to handle that. But I'm just saying, the men didn't speak up. And it'd be sad for her to leave there and not know, like, okay, what could I do better in this area that I'm not looked at as the homie?
Yeah.
And Mike didn't say, oh, no. He didn't say, because he gave enough time. He just looked up at him like, yeah.
Well, yeah, I can see that. But I also think Mike was like, I'm not jumping in this because these two women have the potential to maybe escalate, right? Because
when he did start speaking, he was like, yeah, that's kind of like, yeah. He was kind of like, yeah.
Okay, well.
So, and that's when she was like, well, my voice is loud and everything, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, she really did want to know. It's just the way she could have did a
phrased
better,
it right.
she could have did a better job
Yeah.
trying to probe.
Yeah.
And you're right. It wasn't Cherie's place, but it got out. And so then it'd be something on how Dominica received it. And
We'll
she
see.
received it
Yeah.
as it went.
Yeah. All right. So then Tommy comes and he's like, all right. He pulls the fellas aside.
Right.
It's like, all right, you had two ladies in the bottom.
Right.
They got a second chance.
Right.
Did they make use of it?
Right.
Devin seems to be the only one that is seeing an interest in
Right.
Charisse, because the other guys were like, eh.
Right.
But the phrase again was Dominica's like a sister.
Right.
They said that Charisse changed up, but again, they're not sure that she's sincere.
Correct.
And I agree.
I agree with that. I
She's
agree.
not sincere.
She was networking. I tell you, it was an event.
So while the guys are talking, the ladies are sitting around talking, right? And Charisse says that she's the whole table.
Well, you got to put it in context
Go ahead.
of how this started, right?
Yeah, she talks about
Because
again, Randall being served.
right, Randall being served, and one of the young ladies, I want to say, was it Kayla?
I think it was Kayla, yeah.
Kayla was saying that the way she was raised was that, you're a helpmate.
Right.
And you want to serve, your significant other, male, whatever, because that was how she was raised.
Right.
And so she wanted to express that to Randall.
Right.
And that's when we hear Cherie was like, I'm a queen and I'm independent and I do my own thing and blah, blah, blah. And Kayla was like, hold on. If you so independent, then why would a man think they're going to be a part?
Here?
Why do you think a man would want to be a part of your life if they don't feel there's nothing that they can add to your life?
Right.
Or you need something.
And no one's saying that you have to be weak, helpless, and
no.
But if you're saying that you are the entire package and you don't need a man, then okay, keep that same energy.
Right. Well, that's what she's doing. That's why she's at the bottom.
Right.
Because she's keeping the same energy, right?
Because Kayla was also like, I was being a helpmeet, right?
Right.
So again, some of that's cultural, some of that's beliefs, all of those things, right?
Correct.
And so that's fine.
Correct.
But for me, Charisse is giving me major red flags.
Right.
Major.
Yeah. So I feel like there's a balance in both people's approaches, because too many people who indicate they're independent women, I feel there's a lot of baggage or hurt behind that.
Oh, yeah.
And then the same thing with saying, well, I'm supposed to be a helpmate, blah, blah, blah. And then they tend to lean so much to the other end as well. So there has to be a balance between both. But I don't have any problem. And I don't know why she got so offended. That's the thing.
Why, Charisse got so offended?
Right. She got so offended that she would serve him. If somebody wants to serve another man, y'all all single, and she's like, okay, she's showing interest.
Right.
And that's the way she desired to show interest to him. So.
Yeah. Y'all can tell him I have a problem with Charisse probably this whole season.
Look, I'm not letting these people bother me.
I'm
it's not hurt my feelings.
But y'all know.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, Tommy's like, all right, listen, Dominica, Charisse, step forward. Charisse, you're safe.
Yeah.
Dominica, go be loud someplace else.
Right. Bless her heart. And, and she's like, I know there's someone out there. And there is.
Yes.
And I think it's just so hard to have a good balance that you need to be a little flirty.
Right.
And you can be friendly. It's like having the balance to navigate that.
We're joking about her, her voice being loud, boisterous, what have you. But I believe also if we're talking in the right setting, in the right environment, that may not be an issue, right? Again, we're talking about an environment right now where it's speed dating on crack, really.
Right. It is. It is. And they said that. We didn't say that.
Yeah.
They're saying she was loud.
Yeah.
And men mentioned that, and they did takes at the mixer saying about her being loud. True. So we're just giving what we heard from both men, and then Cherie was making her point on that.
Yeah.
So, so I think again, and we talked about previous seasons about how to keep a good balance in that.
Yes.
Because sometimes I had more male friends than I had female friends. And so I would want to joke around and carry and stuff. But when you're saying I'm dating and I'm trying to, make sure people know I'm interested, you have to be able to be vulnerable.
True.
And a lot of times, also, we've learned in previous season, is their mechanism because they are anxious and this is a lot and it could be anxiety, and maybe that's the way she was expressing it.
Yeah. So Jamela, I think it's Jamela, goes on a date with Swayze.
Because they got the individual dates.
Yeah.
Telling them to bring out their inner Dwayne Wayne.
Yeah. We'll get on that. All right. So she says with this date, she wants to keep it fun and lighthearted, right? He says he wants to get past lust. He wants to peel back some layers.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that has been kind of a dig against Swayze is that he seems to be joking a lot, seems to be
a charmer,
what have you. But one thing that he said that I'm like, okay, I can get what he's saying and I get why he is this way. He talks about his job is so serious because he's fire paramedic, what have you, right? So he's like, my job is so serious, I can't live my life in that same mode 24/7.
Right.
So he has to, in some respects, I think it's him finding a way to balance and also kind of de-stress his life, right? So and again, that's something that the right person is going to have to recognize, and he's going to have to balance that as the relationship grows. But that's what I get as far as, okay, I understand why he's maybe this way or coming off this way right now.
Well, and I like what he was saying. He was talking about he wants to know how intelligent she is, and emotionally he wants to find a connection. And those are things that you want to hear from somebody who says they're ready for a serious relationship, right? So I'm glad that he was able to express that on camera, and they seem to be asking some of those deep questions, right?
We find out that this is the first time he's been single in a while. He's been single for 3 years, right? But he was in serial relationships back to back and long term. So he wasn't just jumping in and out of 3-month relationships.
No,
these were like a year, 2-year term relationships, right? So, and she did say that the date gave her more insight into how serious he can be about relationships.
So it sounds like it was a good date. They enjoyed each other's company, and they were just asking really good questions.
And then on the other side of the beach, Shakira and Samson go on a date. And he brings her an aloe plant in a heart-shaped vase, right? And she is just like,
smitten.
You're making me melt. Samson, bro, what you doing? Bruh. You making her melt on first date?
Well, look, you can tell he's a listener.
Yes.
Because he talks about how he's like, well, I remember when you were telling me that you're about, earthly and one about healing and things like that. So I wanted to show something that I was listening. So, I mean,
that's a key thing, brothers. Y'all got to
listen.
Pick up on the clues.
Well, yeah. And that's what, he gave her back a lot of what she said to him. And then he went a little bit deeper. So you talked about your mother and your father and military and police. How does that work when it comes to your own son? And he gave the name of her son. I'm trying to figure out why Samson ain't already married. Did we find out, was he divorced and this is the second chance? We need to know the tea. Because I said, why is this man?
Because he, in all honesty, he did all the good things right there, as far as what we saw, right? Of one, picking up on just kind of the things that were important to her, but then also because he recognizes she's a single mother. She talked about her son as Prince Amir, right? So
that's his name.
Okay. I didn't know if it was Amir or if it was Prince Amir. Okay.
I think that's his. I think
So,
that's his
but
own
she
name.
talked, so she talks about her son.
Mm-hmm.
And so evidently that's an important part of her life.
Right.
And if they're going to make a connection, that's going to be an important part of their life.
Exactly.
So,
And she talks about that. It felt very
organic.
organic.
Yep.
And when things are not forced, but you can really feel like someone is really engaged and really care about you and what you're saying, hey, those are all
Good
check
things.
marks.
Yep.
Check it
So
off.
we'll see how that one
We'll see
goes.
how that goes.
And then Charisse invites folks over for Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, like half the cast.
Yeah, we were like,
I
wait,
thought it was gonna
who's
be
coming
4.
in? Because Devin shows up. We were like, okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then
They
she's
had a
like, she invited some
connection.
people. We're like, okay, another
Couple. That's it. It kept coming. And I said, this is half the cast.
So, Brandy, LJ, Randall, Katie, and Trinika, and Justice. I think we got them all. If we missed somebody, let us know. But Devin says he's never done Taco Tuesday.
And I was like, you don't eat tacos? Or, again, it's like every time he says something, it gives you 10 other questions. He wanted to help.
I got thoughts about Devin. I don't know if Devin. So we found out that Devin used to be was on another show called Married by My Mother and Father or something like that.
I remember it was brief.
It was brief, right?
Right. I remember the show. I don't remember him.
Right. But I don't know if Ready to Love on the Oprah Winfrey Network, some of y'all picking up what I'm laying down. I don't know if this is the right show for Devin. Devin might be on a show on a different network. I'll just leave it at that. So
like MTV, what are you saying? Lifetime?
Okay. TLC.
Oh, okay.
CMT. Country Music Television.
Wow. Okay, we really went there.
Well.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Finish the statement.
So yeah, I don't know. All right, but so the fact that he's never done Taco Tuesday, that's suspicious to me.
He haven't never done.
That's suspect. I'm sorry.
That's a red flag if you never done.
Listen.
Oh Lordy, Lord.
And you're in Miami too. Now.
Okay, there's a lot going on in Miami. There's lots.
But
things by the sea. So I was like, okay, let's move on. So then
that's like us being here in Phoenix and say, I've never had Mexican food. What?
How do you avoid that? So then he says, oh, you want me to help? And she's like, okay, since you didn't bring me nothing, you can at least help. And then you start backing up no, that's okay. Like, don't have me doing real chef stuff. I can pass something to you if you need it. And then they show the scene where he goes to the bathroom, like him coming out. She's like, how do you ask somebody in your house if they do number 2 in your bathroom?
Well,
it sounded like, I was like, how long was he in there?
That's the question, right? Because then that's a clue, right?
Right. Like, you've been gone for a minute. Were you waiting for her to finish the food so you didn't have to help anymore? Yeah. What is going on? And he says, no,
or he was trying to dry off from all the sweat he was producing.
Right. He was like, no, excuse me. No, I didn't do that. Oh, my eyes are watering. And I was like,
it's okay. We'll have Taco Tuesday next week.
I was like, okay. He's like, I don't do that. And then she's like, did you put the toilet seat down? Like, y'all not dating. Y'all are not a couple. If he didn't, when you had to go in there, check before you sit.
And if that's a deal breaker for you, it's a deal breaker.
It's a deal breaker.
The top,
off the top, along with not, because she's like, he didn't even bring anything.
So not Justin. Justice shows up.
Yeah.
And Justice like, I thought this was a one-on-one. This ain't one-on-one time. I gotta hang out with the entire crew.
Oh my God, half of the cast.
So LJ swoops Trinika away. Also, now he remembers her drink. These guys this season are remembering drinks. They're remembering names. They're remembering stuff. Kudos to them.
Kudos to them. Because the person who couldn't remember anything, he gone. He was the first one voted out.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm not gonna say it.
We're trying to be nice. We are.
LJ, he makes a good rum and coke, so
Well,
he was handling his
it's
business.
pretty basic. I mean, rum
She acted like it was the
and
best
Coke.
thing. It was the best thing ever. She was like, "Ooh,
If
this
you
is."
get a rum and Coke wrong, that's a problem all
I
there.
mean, you could put too much rum in it. Did you ever put too much rum in a rum and coke?
Okay, moving along, and we're walking. Um, but there's a recap of the Randall fiasco with Charisse.
Right? They were like, "Since we're here."
And Devin's like, okay, for those of us that are kind of clueless, can you let us know what
Right.
happened? So they tell the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Charisse basically is like, no, I didn't say that.
Because Brandy was sharing.
And Randall's like, yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, no, I said, whatever she said. And he was like, well, you said that, but you also said the
Right.
other.
Right.
The problem with Charisse also is that she throws so much shade that she doesn't know what shade she's thrown.
She don't know what
She
shade
can't
she's
keep
from.
track of her shade.
She can't keep track of her shade. Oh God, yeah. And he said she was like, and then she tried to throws it back on him because after she has to admit, right? At this point, she has to admit she said it,
Mm-hmm.
and then she goes, "Well,
I see myself as a queen.
and if you don't see yourself as a king,
Passive aggressive.
if you don't see yourself as a king, that's fine. Then I can just call you Randall."
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, but that's not the point here. The
Right.
point is, why are you saying that? You know, especially if it wasn't supposed to be offensive and everything. And he said he wasn't offended, but he said it was awkward.
It made it feel awkward.
He
Yeah.
made me feel awkward in
Because
that
again,
situation.
this is only the second day they've all been together.
Right. So he's like, I don't want any additional pressure on me
Right.
or all eyes
perceptions
on
being
me.
put on me or anything
Right,
like that.
right.
Yeah.
Like I need to be served, right?
Right.
Because a man doesn't want to feel like I'm saying, well, you're gonna have to serve me if we're gonna be
Right.
dating. So, oh my god.
So the other thing that happened there, Brandy is already claiming Mike. So she's already like, yep, Mike's my guy.
Yeah, living like, hey, Brandy, where's Mike? Your boyfriend? Oh, my boyfriend. Yeah. You know, you gotta again. I know it's all fun and games, but
Move around. Move
hey,
around.
you will get labeled.
Yep. The other thing, so Devin was talking with, I think it was Kadian. And just, she's asking about his relationships, and he said he's been single for a year and a half. And I'm wondering if that timeline was his divorce from the previous woman on the show that he was on.
Oh, he actually got married?
Yeah, because if I understand, they, or maybe they were supposed to get married. I don't know. I didn't watch the show all the way through.
Yeah.
So maybe they didn't get married, but that might have been his last relationship. But whatever the reason, whatever the situation was, she's like, okay, was it you? Was it her? He's like, yeah, it was me. So she asked him, well, what have you learned? How have you grown from that? He's like, yeah, I've grown. She's like, okay, what have you done? Meditation. That's it.
I was like, okay. All right, Devin. We're good.
Homeboy is quick to answer, but he has no substance.
We're good, man. Handshake. You're gone. You're going to get voted out.
Yeah.
Based off of those answers.
Yeah.
So she was like, you know what? You can take yourself.
So Brandy's talking with Randall. Another, just pairing that we're noticing. Brandy's talking with Randall. Randall has no kids, but wants kids.
Right.
And she was in a 5-month relationship just last year. So we have a good mix of folks that are, been in relationships recently and not so recently, right?
Right. Because Brandy says she wants to have children. And that's the hardest part is when you're trying to make sure that people still want to have kids. So when her situation with Mike, he was like, I don't know. I have 3 girls, and his youngest is 10. Listen, when you start having kids and they are old enough to handle their business on their own, you talk about liberation. I would not.
Free at last. Free at last. Thank
Listen,
God Almighty, we are free at
if
last.
you die today and I am not fixed, I'm being very basic right now. I could still have kids. I am not dating someone that says they want kids. No, thank you.
And if something were to happen to you,
No, thank you.
it would take a miracle for me to have kids,
No, thank
and
you.
I would not want that miracle to happen in any way, shape, or form.
Mm,
Love kids, but I'm at the stage right now in my life.
no, thank you.
I'm good. We've raised our 2 kids. They're looking forward to grandkids from them at the appropriate time. But
But no, thank you.
I don't want to.
So I don't blame Mike if he's on the fence because you have to think about the responsibility. First of all, they'll always be your kid.
You got to think about how old you're going to be when they hit their milestones.
Right.
Do you really want to be the 70-year-old at
Right.
the high school graduation?
Right. I'm just saying.
I'm
just saying. So I hear what she's saying and what she needs because that's where she is. But don't be so harsh and embrace it. I'm not saying she is.
right.
But is she really thinking in account, like, if I pick this person, am I being fair to him?
Right.
And want to have more kids, and he is older. And you want boys, and he can't run after boys. He's like sitting,
And we've seen this is a recurring theme on Ready to Love, right? Because this is not the thing I appreciate about this show is that it is not 20-somethings
Yes.
dating, right?
Lord Jesus.
These are folks that are in their life.
late,
They're in their, they're in their career.
Right.
They're settled,
Right.
for the most part.
For the
right?
most part.
So if you don't want kids, you don't want kids.
Just
if
say
you want
it.
kids and you're ready to take that on, taking into account all the factors, cool.
Go for it. But you hear Mike says something because when he talks to someone else, he goes, "Ooh, you're young."
Yeah.
And I'm thinking again, he's thinking about the kid portion.
True.
Not they're young, like, oh, you're immature, even though that person took it that way. I'm thinking he's thinking this person may want kids, especially if they haven't had any.
That's true.
And they're younger than me.
Yeah.
And so I think that becomes a very balancing act for someone who's in their late 40s and have children already, where they feel like that part of my life I've already lived.
Yeah, because Mike's 42, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, as they're wrapping up the cast party, really is what it was at Sharice's house. Devin makes, in my opinion, a delusional statement. He says that he feels good about expressing himself on who he truly is.
Right.
And that being intimate and romantic is not who he really is. So I get that because, I agree. He didn't give anything that would give me that feeling, right?
No.
But when he says that he's expressing himself on who he truly is, when we see Devin making statements, a lot of times he'll make a statement and then he'll come back and correct it or make adjustments to it. So the question is, who is he really?
Right.
Is he first statement Devin or is he second statement Devin?
I don't think Devin knows who he is.
That's the problem.
I don't think he knows who he is.
That's the problem.
And he can work on that, right? That's something can be worked on.
Absolutely.
It's just recognizing it and moving forward to say, I do want to find love, and how can I continue to work on myself so that I can do it? Because again, he played NFL football off and on.
Right.
So again, you're trying to find your career. You're trying to find your identity. There's a lot of things going on there that he might just need to take the time to really work on himself.
Exactly. All right. So then Kayla, Jamala, Shakira, Mike, Swayze, and Zoe go bowling. Mike makes a statement that he does not want to be seen as a couple with Brandy.
He's like, I'm still open. I want to mingle.
Which is important, right?
It's very important.
The only couple was Clifton and what was her name last season?
Joy.
Clifton and Joy last season were the only ones that were pretty much seen as a couple all the way through and got all the way through to the end.
Yeah. Previous seasons, that
it's been
didn't
a kiss
work.
of death.
It has
in some
been.
respects, right?
Yeah.
Um, so this is where Kayla and Mike are talking, and he's like, "Yeah, 30's a little too young for him, right?" Zoe is showing Shakira how to bowl, and he is like,
Is he
"You gotta."
showing?
Well,
Was he showing her how to bowl?
he's showing us something
He was showing her something.
because he was put your hips right here, move this thigh right here.
He was moving hands.
Zoe was hey,
She was there. She was there
and
for
and
it.
she was fine with it. She was not put off by it.
No.
She was like she actually
was-
wanted. Now, wonder if she actually could bowl like a 300 herself and was just.
She was saying she could. She said, "How you
Yeah.
know that I don't know how to bowl?" So she appreciates a man probably taking control.
Yes.
And she might be her love language might be touch. So it fit right into what she was in for, and they were just having a good time.
Yep.
So
Kayla is over talking with Swayze and find out a little more about him. He actually went as far as buying a house with the woman.
Yeah.
For her to cheat.
No, not for her to cheat.
Not for her to cheat. But he bought a house
with
a woman
that he was in,
only to at some point she cheats on him.
Right.
That's what I meant.
Because she's acting like, oh.
He bought a house for her to cheat on him with. No, that's not what I'm saying.
So he was saying like, yeah, I've been in a long-term relationship. My last relationship, I met someone. She was older than me. She was 38. And it got to the point where we decided to purchase a house together. And then she's like, well, why you ain't still with her? And then he goes, well, she cheated on me. And then she was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that.
That makes sense.
But it's hard when there's always this perspective that men are only the ones that cheat.
Right.
And that's been all this long title for a very long time. When women do their dirt. So she was like, she was apologizing about what he went through.
Right.
And everything. So.
And then she talks about her situation.
Yeah.
Because she was supposed to be married a year ago. And then there was problems with the baby mother.
Yeah.
And then she was engaged before that too.
Right. And I was like, woo. But she was trying to think she could do without having children.
Right.
He didn't want to have kids. Yeah. And she thought, you know what? I can't marry you because I really do want to have children. Yeah. So
Swayze and Zoe get challenged essentially to a bowl off, if you will. And Kayla's like, the loser's got to do push-ups. The winner gets a special treat, which is a peck. Zoe bowled himself a strike. He was like, look, I'm going to go ahead and dust off my bowling shoes.
Get my skills and warm up his arm.
And Swayze was like, well, yeah, I guess he can have that because that's what old people do.
Why are we going there?
Listen.
Why are we going there? If you didn't win the kiss, you just didn't win the kiss, right?
Listen. Challenge him to something else. But,
right. Hey.
All right. So then the ladies' lounge. So now, Tommy's got a spot for the ladies' lounge there on the Miami beach. And of course, he goes through and starts asking, okay, who you feeling?
Right.
Jamela is feeling Randall and Swayze. Trinika is, Randall's one of her people. Kadian is feeling Swayze. Brandy, of course, is feeling Mike. Shakira is feeling Samson. And she even begins to tear up because she thinks about, all the things that her son has seen.
Right.
Which is also an important thing.
Along with
relationships is you have to, of course, guard what your children are exposed to and how quickly they get attached to somebody.
Yeah, as much as
if they're not going to be there long term.
Yeah, and that's, I know you're saying that, but it may be harder than what you're saying.
True, absolutely, right. Yeah. I've not been in that situation, but that's just what from other people that we've counseled and know, what have you. But then who are they not feeling? Right. So Justice was on that list. Devin was on the list. April was like, Mike is her type, but she's not feeling him. And then there was this confusion about whether or not Mike wanted more kids because some were like, no, I heard that he didn't. Well, no, that's not what I heard because he told me he does. So Mike got to keep his story straight across all channels because
his story need to be straight with himself.
Yeah.
Do you or do you not? I get it.
Yeah. So we have, of course, as you know, we have the two dates that happen.
Mm-hmm.
One person is told you're going home. The other
Mm-hmm.
person is told, okay, straighten up and fly right.
Right.
So Devin goes out with Katie and Mike goes out with Brandy.
Mm-hmm.
And so immediately when we saw Mike going out with Brandy, we're like, Mike ain't going nowhere.
Right.
Devin's gone.
Right.
So Katie starts off, she's like, how many people have you exchanged numbers with?
Mm-hmm.
And again, Devin comes with, are you talking men or women? She's like, what do I care if you exchange numbers with the other guys that are on this show? What does that do for me?
Mm-hmm.
So then she asks, have you been mature about the process?
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about, his nervous energy, what have you, which again, I think may have to do with the fact that maybe this wasn't the right show for him.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells him, you are not ready to love.
Mm-hmm.
Brandy on the other side of the beach lets Mike know that, and Mike says that he's the real deal for her. He's like, look,
Right.
you the one that I'm focusing on.
And then she's like, oh, really? So how many kids we going to have? And he's like, oh, so...
He's like, well, how many do you want?
How many do you want?
Two.
Two? Okay, all right. We
I
can do
guess I'm
two.
gonna have 5.
Just be sure, man. That's all I'm saying.
Just know what you want.
Just know what you want.
And so she lets him off the hook and
Right.
just lets him know that the ladies do want him to open up more.
Right.
So, next week it'll be the fella's turn to send a lady home.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on who that might be?
I don't know. I haven't seen April really interact with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So she's the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Everyone else we pretty see much, they're communicating, they're
Mm-hmm.
laughing with some of the guys. So right now I'm saying April. That's my prediction.
I'm saying April. I'm not sure about Kadian right now. Not sure about her energy. So we'll
Yeah.
see. And then Looney comes back next week. So
Yeah.
I'm sure she'll be safe next week. Would be wrong to send her home. And
Right. She
been there.
haven't really been there.
But yeah, I agree. April is probably, just in my opinion, just from what we've seen or not
Right,
seen,
right.
she might be the one that we don't see
Right.
going forward. So let us know what y'all think in the comments. Let us know which couples or if you are seeing interactions and maybe energy that we didn't see as far as couples. And definitely make sure you're here for the ride that is called Ready to Love Miami, because y'all know how we do it. All right. Love y'all. See y'all next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.